Identity is a very abstract concept that can never be fully understood. Yet through the characters in Their Eyes Were Watching God and Great Expectations, Dickens and Hurston illustrate how a person may only come close to knowing their identity when faced with difficulty. By looking at identity through multiple lenses, we are able to see glimpses and piece them together as best we can to find our own identity. The collision of identities also helps one to understand their identity because it tests their strengths and pulls out their weaknesses. Through the feminist lens, we look at the identity of women. More specifically, one can see the message of women's empowerment in Their Eyes Were Watching God. But when looked at from a historical lens, the beauty of the book is not appreciated, but rather criticized. Throughout most of the novel, there is the false perception that identity can be shaped by relationships and experiences as seen by Janie. I was with them white chillin' so much till I didn't know I wasn't white till I was around 6 years old. Janie let her relationships dictate who she was becoming, but when the fateful day comes where she must shoot tea cake, she is tested into discovering her own identity beyond her relationships. The day of the gun, and the bloody body, and the courthouse came and commenced to sing a sobbing sigh out of every corner of the room. So much life in its meshes. She called her soul in to come and see. Similarly, in Great Expectations, Pip discovers his identity lies beyond his relationships. After Pip took those relationships for granted is when he truly figured out who he was. I often wondered how I had conceived the old idea of his inaptitude, until I was one day enlightened by the reflection that perhaps the inaptitude had never been in him at all, but it had been in me. Pip is not the only character with an identity crisis in this novel. Estella has difficulty with finding herself apart from her relationship with Miss Havisham. I must be taken as I have been made. The success is not mine, the failure is not mine, but the two together make me. Many of us struggle with difficult decisions. The way we approach these decisions is dependent upon our identity. To some extent, our identities may be shaped or molded by our relationships, but ultimately, we find ourselves in moments of separation. It is in these moments when our identity will reveal itself to us through acknowledging our strengths and our weaknesses.